The champions of England versus the FA Cup and Community Shield champions. Liverpool versus Arsenal. The game that never fails. What's up and welcome to All Balls, the show that keeps you up to date with all the Premier League action and fantasy football tips. We are talking about all the matches of game week 3. With me is Rahul Bell, who's ever so excited, happy, waiting, and probably going to boast about the big midweek win against Luton Town.
Okay, fine. We won. We scored goals.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Stop
you
covering it. Stop
I hope
covering
you win the Carabao Cup.
Thank you. But stop covering the fact that you're scared about Liverpool.
I'm not scared about Liverpool. It's the third game of the...
See, what's going to happen to you has happened 5 times in the last 10 games versus Liverpool to Arsenal. Which is, what is this? A loss.
I'm going to ignore that, but anyway...
You can't ignore that.
What do you want me to say? I mean, okay, so the
you're,
question...
You're telling me you're going to win 3 continuous games?
Arsenal's
going to win 3 continuous games in this season.
Yeah, we haven't done that since 2004, 2005. So it's possible that we do it. No, fair. But I think what you're trying to ask me actually is that can Arsenal beat Liverpool at Anfield?
No, I'm not asking you. I'm establishing the fact that you're going to lose this game. I want you to defend how you won't.
Well, I think that there are positives for us to take from the last 2 games which we've played. We've beaten Liverpool.
Being dominated by West Ham.
We've beaten Liverpool just in July. And I think that, it's a good game for us to go in. And you know what? Even if Arsenal don't win, I don't think that it's a big deal. It's fine. It's Liverpool.
For you, for me it is.
No, let's put things into perspective for a minute, right? Liverpool has just won the title. They've probably signed the best midfielder in Europe, which was available. They've completed what they had to do. They've signed Diego Jota also. They've completed their activity. They are the number 1 team. They've strengthened further. Arsenal, on the other hand, have had 2 reasonably good wins in the last 2 weeks. We haven't been able to complete our transfers with Aouar and with Thomas Partey, which we are waiting for. So I don't know, you're making it such a big deal and going gaga about Liverpool. Yeah, firstly, as a United fan, tell me who's your competition? Is it Liverpool your competition or Arsenal?
No, there's no competition.
Who is your direct rival?
After last week's sneak attack on me, I want that L against Arsenal.
Who is your direct rival?
Which is going to happen.
No.
Yes, it is going to happen. I mean, you have David Luiz back.
He can't tell me who's the direct rival. He doesn't know whether it's a title contender or whether it's a club which is going to probably be in the top 6. So who's that?
Behave yourself. We're talking about Liverpool, Arsenal, not United.
No, but I'm asking you. You're going gaga over Liverpool. First of all, you guys are supposed to have the worst relationship with Liverpool, but right now you seem like a Liverpool fan more than a United fan.
Enemy's enemy is my friend.
Yeah, great. But I'm just saying, who's your direct rival in this?
Probably Arsenal.
Have United fans still figured what they want out of the season? That's the question.
Top 3 guys, top 3. Okay, coming back to Liverpool, Arsenal. Laka's in form. Luiz is back.
Yeah.
But Mane, Firmino, Salah, 10 out of the last 12 goals, 67% involvement in the goals.
Yeah.
What do you think? Will Arsenal be able to cope up? Considering an Antonio, a Bowen and a Masuaku troubled you.
Look, talking about the Liverpool game, I don't think that, this is probably the fittest Arsenal team I've seen play in the last 4 to 5 years. And,
because they've not gone injured for 3 games.
No, not about that. But the thing is that this is genuinely the most fittest Arsenal team. And in a game like this, when you're going away, when you're going to Liverpool, it all matters on work rate. So I wouldn't write Arsenal off absolutely saying that, how we've been beaten in the past with 4 and 5-0 or whatever. But I think that it's a good game. It's going to be a tactical game, and it's something which I'm looking forward to see that how much Arsenal have progressed themselves in a way.
So 3 at the back, probably?
Yeah, 3 at the back, probably. I think David Luiz comes back in. So let's see how it...
Whom do you think is going to be sacrificed?
I think probably Rob Holding or maybe even Gabriel. I'm not sure.
But who's your third then?
No, we have to have Tierney come back into the team, and that is without KT. It's going to be extremely tough for us to get anything out of the game because we need to be solid defensively, and we are pretty clinical when it comes up front. Laka has the goals with him. Auba is in peak form. Willian will be a good it'll be really interesting to see that how Arteta actually uses Willian in this game more deeper or on the counter. I think that's our only strategy, that we have to go there, defend, and then try and hit them clinically on the counter.
I think what, according to me, Arteta will do is try to attack them on the wings, seeing what Leeds did.
Yeah.
Because Alexander-Arnold and Robertson were troubled during that game.
True.
So, I mean, I do feel that Aubameyang may get his chances with Alexander-Arnold, but then again, will Arsenal's defense able to cope up with Liverpool's attack? That is something I'm not sure
It's
about.
going to be I feel it's going to be a high scoring game because there's nothing really to lose for either of the teams in this game. Third week, So, but the point being is, and Liverpool do tend to attack much more, and which leaves spaces in there, on the left and on the right. So that's probably one of the ways. But seeing the West Ham game last week, what happened was the 2 goals which came, they came through direct football, which they played through and through. Ceballos played one and Saka played one through and through. So it'll be a really interesting game, and I think it's going to be a thriller, absolutely.
Okay, so 2 last questions. Your prediction?
2-2.
Optimistic. And would you captain Aubameyang or Salah? This is for all you fantasy fans.
I'm going to captain Werner.
Oh God, typical Arsenal. Another team who's never won their 3 opening fixtures. Leicester City versus Manchester City. What do you think of that game? City on top?
City definitely on top. Leicester have been phenomenal. The last game they played, the way they moved the ball from the right to the left and, vice versa. It's probably the fastest, in the Premier League. And it seems like Brendan's got the team going in terms of how they play and how they started last season, to be that top 4 to that top 6 team. So it's going to be interesting. However, I think Leicester has lost NDD at the back. They have problems in defense.
That's a big blow.
It's a big blow because Evans is not fully fit.
And Wes Morgan.
And Wes Morgan is, you rather play somebody else than over there. Anybody. Anybody. But it's a tough game for Leicester. And
City 6 out of their last 7 against Leicester.
True.
In red hot form. Phil Foden having a great game last time around against Wolves.
KDB, man. KDB looking great.
I'm tired of talking about KDB because that man is just another level. But coming to the strike force, which is something I was actually thinking about while I was changing, my team this week.
Right.
Is that Gabriel Jesus, should I bring him in? He's got 4 out of his last 5 appearances. And shockingly, City has not lost a game. 32 last games they've not lost when he scored.
That is true. That's a phenomenal stat,
actually. That is actually a very big differential as well.
It's a big difference, yeah.
Everyone with the cost cutting going for Foden or going for KDB.
Yeah.
No,
and he takes the pens. So, it makes total sense to get KDB in the team. But however, I feel that, when City get their momentum and their rhythm, you feel like not only getting one City, but at least 2-3 City players in the team overall.
Absolutely.
And I think that time will come in this season.
And Leicester also coming off, a loss midweek against Arsenal.
Yeah.
So, they lost to a weak team.
11 changes in that game. You can't, the game probably came too soon for them. They have defensive issues. I don't think that you should consider the...
it's still an L against their name.
Game. Yeah, well, whatever. But, this game against Man City I think it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a tight one. But, of course, City will come through. I think that by a couple of goals at least. I would go with 3-1 to City.
No, I back City not to concede this game.
Yeah, and like you said, Jesus has scored 4 out of 5 goals in his against Leicester in the last 4. So that's a good fantasy option for whoever is considering. West Ham versus Wolves at the London Stadium. West Ham haven't beaten Wolves in the last 4 Premier League meetings without scoring a single goal. But this time, Antonio looks good. West Ham will be encouraged with their performance at Arsenal last week.
He does look good. He'll obviously face a tougher opponent in Wolves than he faced last week. Better defenders and, a well-organized side.
You just had to say that.
I had to, of course. Well. But, his opposite number in Jimenez is also in red-hot form.
Yes.
Wolves is playing some great football. West Ham, though, they came off a good win in the cup as well. While, you mentioned that the team was changed around and stuff. But I just feel it's team mentality when you get a win against your name. They needed that probably after the Arsenal game where they got a little unlucky. But again, I don't see them coming out of this game with a win because I feel Wolves is just more experienced in these games.
More organized in the
front. More organized. Their quality is a little higher than what
Than
West Ham is.
attacking wise, right?
I mean,
And
except
yeah.
for Declan Rice, I don't think I can pick a West Ham player, in position who would be better than a Wolves player in comparison.
Fair enough.
But again, games are not won on paper.
Yeah.
But I still feel that, with the whole team that Wolves has created, with the atmosphere that Nuno has in there, I just feel that they will get across the line a little easier than what they did last time. And yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing maybe if Semedo starts or not.
Yeah, that's a good one. It'll be interesting to see that. But talking about Raul Jimenez, he has scored 4 times in the last 6 Premier League games. So that's a good one to get into the fantasy.
Or, I mean, most of them already have him, but if
Yeah.
you don't,
I didn't and I got him in. But, yeah, I'd go with like a 2-1, I think, to Wolves. The Cottagers versus the Villains at Craven Cottage. What do you
Okay.
feel, Rahul?
first of all, I feel you should just take their names because that is embarrassing. But
Let's do it again.
yeah.
Fulham versus Villa.
Yeah. So, I mean, Fulham, last 6 out of their last 8 against Villa, they have won. Villa, on the other hand, last 26 games away from home have not kept a clean sheet. Though I know they're coming out, from a win. Fulham, 2 losses. But I feel Mitrovic is going to be the difference in this game, rather.
Yeah, they've been getting the goals.
I mean, yeah, also Aston Villa played a Sheffield that was down to 10 men. Though the penalty save by
Imi.
yours truly.
Yes.
But yeah, I just feel Aston Villa didn't really dominate that game enough with 10 men. I feel Fulham had a good game last time around against Leeds. Within the goals, Mitrovic looked in form. So I just feel that the home team will take it here.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. Brighton versus Manchester United at the Amex. The biggest game for Manchester United fans, probably of the weekend. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting a win for starters before you go
Wear
all
a jersey.
bonkers on
Wear a
me.
jersey.
No.
Why? You're not confident?
Shot will get spoiled.
No, but
I am confident United will come away with the win. I know we've had the 3-0 in the Carabao Cup versus a weak
Big win.
opposition.
Massive.
Yeah, I mean, of
I
course.
think you're Carabao Cup winners already.
Thank you. You
Yeah.
said this for the second time.
I
The
know.
third time, I'm leaving. But anyways, I just feel that United will probably come out on top. Also because of the fact that now, the players are fit. You have a Bailly fit who I pray will start over Lindelof.
And what about Maguire?
Maguire's wife threw him out of the house after the last game. But I'm saying, no, she
Is
didn't.
that
What do you mean,
legit?
really?
Is that legit?
No, it's not. But anyways, I just no. But what I fear is Ole having this, tendency to give another chance. Like even last season, after De Gea's mistakes, he still, had the confidence in him. He didn't want to demotivate that player and take him off immediately. But I think some things like this need to be done as a manager, where the player should know, like where Jose last
No,
game.
I don't think he trusts Eric Bailly at all. In fact, he'll have to play Smalling or Jones to prove their worth because they are not getting sold.
I mean, that's another problem. I mean, here, people, Wolves are buying half of Portugal.
Yeah.
I mean, City's buying players, Liverpool's buying players, while United is under the argument of should we sell Chris Smalling?
So, no. So, do you understand your mistake? Do you understand that why these players are not being sold? I mean,
The
irrespective
mistake is obviously
of the
with the
quality.
board, with the management, yes.
But don't you think that you overpay in wages that other teams just refuse to touch your players?
Probably, yeah. I mean, we do.
I mean,
but
you have 3 keepers at the moment with a spend per week of about 675,000. With Henderson, with Romeo, and with
you can buy all of Arsenal in that much.
No, you can't. But you can buy a championship club for sure in that much.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying, right? So there's a problem with the board. While, I mean, keeping that aside, I probably feel Ole will come out with a stronger lineup. Wan-Bissaka has to start.
He will start.
He has to start. There are no two ways about it. If it were up to me, I would play a Bailly instead of a Lindelof. I mean, the rest of the lineup, I only see Greenwood replacing a James.
Correct.
And probably a Donny coming in for a McTominay. But since it's an away game, I still don't feel that he will start so attacking.
So if you had to play 3 midfielders, who would you play?
If it were up to me, I would play Pogba, Donny and Bruno. But that is
No,
being
but-
very optimistic. There is no
And you don't have the
defensive
best
cover.
defense.
Exactly.
Exactly,
Which
yeah.
is why a McTominay would come in. Which
I
is
think-
why you need a Wan-Bissaka who can cover up for idiots like Maguire in the middle. And, Luke Shaw is not doing so badly. Probably little more link up between Rashford and Martial, which we didn't see in the last game. Shorter passes.
Yeah.
I mean, you just saw the ball coming to Bruno and him trying to drill it into their feet. The final pass. Play a little more. Use the ball like we did after the restart last season, which is why we had the wins we had. So
Yeah,
yeah,
fair
I mean,
enough.
also with the fact that Brighton probably, will be a little overconfident after their win.
I don't think they'll be
I
overconfident.
want them to be
No,
overconfident.
I think that they'll come out
Feel
and
sentiments over here. But yeah, I mean, I just feel that they'll be confident after their win. But United, again, keeping the transfer market aside, have the squad to beat them even if it's away from home.
Yeah.
So I don't trust a clean sheet. So United defenders, goalkeepers, fantasy, I'm not vouching for that. But I do vouch for them to come away with 3 points at least now.
How about what if you accommodate all these four guys? Bruno, Van der Beek, Pogba, and McTominay. Do you think that that's an option, and then you play with Martial and Rashford up
Probably
front?
then I think Greenwood would be sacrificed.
Yeah,
Which is
he can come on. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, why would you sub him? I mean, why would you put him on the bench?
no, it's
He's
just
getting
that
his goals.
I
He
just
plays,
think that,
he scores.
With these 3-4 people, these 3-4 midfielder, I think that United can be much more balanced because they are world-class midfielders.
But I would rather have Van der Beek on the bench and start Greenwood also because of the fact that he is two-footed. I mean, he can get goals from either foot and he's in red hot form.
Yeah.
So then I don't see a reason to bench Greenwood, which is which was the problem in the first game week as well. So yeah, I would want Greenwood to start. I would want United to probably come away with a clean sheet, but I think a 3-1 should be a suitable result to calm you down and the other people
Well,
around
for
us.
your sake, I hope United win. So let's see how that goes.
Okay then.
Crystal Palace versus Everton at Sellers Park. Palace have been winless in their last 11 games against Everton.
It's going to be 12.
You're sure about that?
100%.
They look a class apart.
Yeah, but Palace, I mean, they've kept what, 27% possession.
Yeah, average.
Average at 27% possession. While you look at Everton, they have all the equipment in their armory to keep the ball. They have an Andre Gomez, an Allen, a Decore. They have James Rodriguez who will play those passes. You will have all the running done by Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. And they just look a class apart under Ancelotti. I feel Everton is going to run away with this game. While, Crystal Palace have their positives with Zaha, with Jeffrey Schlupp, having that attacking threat. They're doing well in defense like they did against United. They won that game. They got their 3 points. But I just feel, I feel Andros Townsend and Jeffrey Schlupp are the kind of players who slowly fade away. They will not have the same
During the
impact
course of the
as
game.
Zaha. Exactly. So for me, an Everton strategy would be if you keep Zaha quiet, you've won that game. And they do not give away the ball that often to, have those counter-attacks against them, which means that Zaha will be ineffective to that extent. So I just feel Everton will come out with the win and Crystal Palace will just have to try next time.
Well, Everton have been averaging 16 shots in their last 2 games which they've played. So that's another great fantasy option for people who are looking to get in Everton midfielders, maybe even Calvert-Lewin. I think it's a great option. So what do you, I mean,
Calvert-Lewin is the best option. I mean, he's
Who do
an
you-
attacker who's cheap. He will get you the goals. And I mean, with his price, even if he doesn't fire in a game, you don't feel so bad. Like if you have a Mo Salah or a Mane at that price, and if they don't get you a goal or an assist,
yeah.
you
Or perhaps a Danny
I mean,
Ings or a Jimenez
exactly.
at 8.5 or something
At
like
eight-
that.
Yeah, I mean, at those prices, if they don't get you points, you don't get sleep at night. So you rather have someone at a range where if he doesn't score, you don't feel so bad. But with the Calvert-Lewin, with the form he's in, with the game he's playing, and with the game Everton is playing, he is going to get the goals. So I probably see, say, a 3-1 or a 4-1 to Everton in this game. West Brom versus Chelsea at the Hawthorns. Okay, now I'm super excited about this game. One, because Thiago Silva's back. Ben Chilwell came on midweek. Kai Havertz got his hat-trick, however easy it is and however you disregard the Carabao Cup. But he got his hat-trick. And I just feel Chelsea is going to be stronger at the back. I have gone to the temple. I have prayed that Kepa will not play. Okay, and also because I have Werner in my side. And I have made a comment that he will finish with Golden Boot and he's not got a single goal. But my concern is Chelsea's record against newly promoted sides is not too good. They won 3 out of the last 7. What do you feel?
Easy Chelsea win, man. Honestly, like it's a easy. They had a great game midweek. I think they'll take so much confidence out of that. Thiago Silva coming in, Chilwell coming in, Havertz doing well. West Brom has lost most of their times they've lost to Chelsea. It's about 18 times they've lost. That's the maximum they've lost to any Premier League club. So I think it's a no-brainer. Chelsea go out of the park, they smash this one. I think and I think it's going to be a 4-0 to Chelsea.
I think the most important thing for Chelsea is the clean sheet. After what happened against Liverpool, after the feedback they got against Brighton, I mean, hopefully a Mendy will start or a Caballero, not a Kepa. But in case Kepa starts, do you see West Brom getting that odd goal?
Well, it depends on Pereira, their forward, their target man. It depends on him. But you know whether they get a goal. I mean, maximum they'll get 1 goal. But I see Chelsea outscoring them.
Burnley Southampton at Turf Moor. Burnley coming off a defeat, Southampton coming off a defeat. What do you predict for this game?
Tough game. I think I would go for a draw. Just considering the fact that Burnley or Southampton, none of them seem to have their rhythm or their momentum going at the moment.
But Burnley are unbeaten in their last 7 against Southampton. You think that's going to give them a mental edge?
No, it probably gives them a mental edge, but I don't think that it's anything to take forward into the game, which is, yeah.
So you're looking at what, a 1-1 draw?
Yeah.
Danny Ings,
Danny Ings,
fantasy team.
yes.
Selfish boy.
Spurs versus Newcastle at the Tottenham Hotspur no-name stadium or whatever. But Rahul, what do you think?
Jose Mourinho!
He has a 100% record against Newcastle.
By parking the bus?
By parking the bus or whatever he does, he has a 100% record.
Okay, anyways, we'll go past Mourinho. I see Newcastle sitting back because that's how they usually defend. So what Spurs did against the Southampton will not work. They will have to play football, which is difficult for a Mourinho side. But then, of course, you have quality like Harry Kane who will, be a fox in the box and get a goal from somewhere, I feel. I don't see Son doing the damage he did last game. But in form, momentum, probably a goal, an assist. But not more than that. While I hate saying this, but I do not see Newcastle coming away with anything from this game.
They've not been doing anything on the pitch anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think Harry Kane is too much for Jamal Lewis to handle as well. Lascelles is also not so quick. So probably, a Kane, a Son, a Bergwijn or a Moura from one side and Lascelles coming into the middle, which increases that little bit of creativity that they have. I feel they will play better football than what they played against Southampton. Obviously not do the whole counter-attacking business, which they usually do.
Yeah, Newcastle sit behind anyway.
I mean, yeah, Newcastle do that, though they've come off a 7-0 win in the cup tie midweek. But then again, since, those will only give them a win against their name, the goals and how many goals they scored. I mean, they're obviously not going to come out and score 7 against Spurs. But even getting a couple against Spurs, I doubt it. I think Spurs picked up momentum in the last game and probably they will continue that against the bottom half teams for a while.
Clean sheet for Spurs?
I think so, yes. I think Mourinho will strengthen them at the back. And once they get the first 2 goals, I think that will flatten Newcastle out. So I don't see Newcastle scoring. Even if they do, not more than 1. But I'm backing a clean sheet for Spurs.
Alright, I'm going 3-0 for Spurs against Newcastle.
Sheffield versus Rohan's Leeds at Bramall Lane. Excited for that game?
Excited.
Sheffield not off the mark with the goals yet. 2 very disappointing performances. They've lost Egan in defence through the red card. Leeds, on the other hand, are playing some impressive football. And one thing I actually figured the other day when I had a friend come up to me to ask me whether I should take, whether I should take Costa, whether I should take Bamford. So people are actually considering Leeds players as strong points in their fantasy team. So do you think, that they're going to come out of this comfortably, or do you think they're going to have a rough time with Sheffield now wanting to get in the goals and now wanting that win?
I think they're going to come out comfortably in this one simply because they've been that goal scoring team in the last 2 games. Sheffield unfortunately haven't strengthened, haven't got anything in the front going for them. And, and they've lost their best defender of last season. So I think that it's going to be comfortable for Leeds to go through the entire game. It's not going to be like a touch and go like Leeds has in the last 2 games. But yeah, having said that, I'm really excited because it's the first Yorkshire derby since 2001, which is amazing. And I think it's a big game,
And I mean a high for Leeds fans. I mean, Liam Cooper making his 200th appearance for the club. Absolutely. So if nothing, I mean, that little sentimental value of doing it for him.
Yeah.
And getting those wins early to build that momentum. So you see Leeds winning this one.
Yes.
Do you see Sheffield scoring?
I see Sheffield scoring because Leeds haven't been particularly great at the back, but
Sheffield haven't been particularly good in the front either. I mean, they don't have that cut through passing. They don't have that pace. They do attack as a unit, yes, but they don't have that X factor to get the goal, which is why, you know, they've gone 2 games without a goal. Do you see them scoring in the last one?
I see them scoring, definitely. I think it's going to be a 3-1 to Leeds.
So you don't have a Leeds defender in your team?
No.
Absolutely. So that wraps up another episode of All Balls. Here's a roundup of the games this week. We have Chelsea playing, we have Thiago Silva back. We have a big game with a weak opponent, Liverpool playing Arsenal on Monday night. So that's a big one, probably the biggest of the week. Please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, click the bell icon, leave your comments in the section below, and do join us for the next episode of All Balls. Stay safe.